leaves died when it turned very cold. Once a flowering plant, now it's withered and old. But such is life, I try not to dwell very long on the days that are gone. So heartbreak's got you down in the dumps again. You're banging your head on the wall and feeling the lumps again. Well, look at yourself. You bury your head in the ground while your tears all fall down. But there's nowhere you can run. Keep your eyes towards the sun. Hey, tomorrow's a brand new day. Tomorrow's a brand new day, yeah. The sun disappears each night and melts into the sea. But then it rises next day, so bright, so full of energy. My grandmother says that all happens for the best. Count only the joys, try to forget the rest. So when a day drags and you start to feel deep inside that your spirit has died, well, there's nowhere you can run. Keep your eyes towards the sun. Hey, tomorrow's a brand new day. Tomorrow's a brand new day, yeah. The sun disappears each night and melts into the sea. But then it rises next day, so bright, so full of energy. So when the day drags and you start to feel deep inside that your spirit has died, well, there's nowhere you can run. Keep your eyes towards the sun. Hey, tomorrow's a brand new day. Tomorrow's a brand new day. Tomorrow's a brand new day.
And that's Robin Greenstein. Robin, how you doing?
Well, my voice has been better, frankly.
Well, we're at the end of the Northeast Regional Folk Alliance and getting ready to walk out the door soon. So, yeah,
we're all incredibly sleep deprived.
That's exactly. And that song was called
Tomorrow's a Brand New Day. And I'd like to dedicate that to all the Democrats out there.
Okay.
Because tomorrow is a brand new day for us.
So, thanks a lot for joining me here at the tail end of the conference. And tell you what, I should say I've been doing this show for about a year, and one of the first songs I had on was one of your songs, and people can rate songs, and it's probably the highest rated song or one of them
Oh, my
since
goodness.
I started.
I know. When you wrote me that, I was like, wow.
What was the name? I'm trying to remember the name of
Searching.
that. Searching. That's right.
Yeah, maybe I'll sing that for you.
That would be cool. And why don't you give us a little background on your music career and what you're doing now?
Okay. Well, I started playing guitar at 11, and I picked up the banjo at age 17. And I studied guitar for many years. I studied classical guitar, and I eventually went to college and majored in music and classical guitar. But at the same time, I had my foot, the other side was heavily into folk and pop and rock and blues and traditional folk. And so now I sort of straddle both worlds, play both kinds of music. And I worked under the folk singer Hetty West, who was a folk star in the 60s. She played a very interesting style of banjo. And I was also a disciple of the famous guitar workshop in Roslyn, New York, which was a real breeding ground in the early 70s for guitar players. And after college, I moved to New York City and started playing around there. And I guess my big break was when I got signed to Bob Dylan's publishing company for a couple of years, and almost got signed to a couple of record deals, and banged around there. That was kind of the days when albums were still out and still strong, but CDs were just starting to kind of come in to fruition. And back then, if you made your own album, it was considered a stigma because only people who couldn't get record deals made their own albums. That meant you weren't good enough for a major label. So I waited a long time before finally putting out my first album. It took the death of my mother to make me realize, that time was passing and it was time to move on that. And I put that out, and it got a really good reception. And since then I put out a few more. I put out one traditional music CD. And I've done some very interesting things. I started working with Martin Guitars in 2000 as a clinician, and I've traveled abroad for them and went to China performing for them, and play Martin Guitars exclusively now. And I've performed in Japan, and I've performed in Club Med, and I performed playing banjo on cruise ships. As a headliner, I was flown to India and to Morocco and the Canary Islands. And 2001 put the end to a lot of that stuff. It just killed a large part of the entertainment economy, which I still think has not really recovered that well. And I divide my time between performing, I do some teaching, I do a little consulting, I still write songs, and, I just kind of try to do it all a little bit. And I've developed some other programs that I do besides original music, revolving around traditional music and family programming and Jewish music, too.
Yeah, you've really found your niche, or niches even, to be able to earn your living with music.
Well, it's very hard today to just make a living from playing your own music. I don't care what anybody tells you. There are very few people who do it. And, most of them, not everybody, but a large majority of them are married to somebody who makes a living and has benefits and insurance and all that stuff. So I don't care what they tell you.
It's like that joke. What's a folk singer that isn't married? Homeless.
Right. These people are, they have that security. So most people who aren't have had to develop some kind of niche, whether it's being gay and working the women's music market, or doing school shows for kids, or working senior homes, or teaching during the day. I know a woman whose day job is being a music clown, or doing music therapy, or, just specializing in some niche, because it's really tough. Venues are dropping like flies. When you see these big names playing in these small venues, what does that tell you? They're not doing it because they love the intimate audience. Right. Most of the time. They're doing it because that's the kind of gig they get now. And, they're lucky to walk out of there with $700 for a night. So I did the college market for quite a while, and I don't do quite as much of that anymore. But yeah, you do have to branch out, and you have to find your niche. People like David Roth. Only about half the gigs he does are kind of coffee house type gigs. He does corporate things, and it just goes on and on.
Right. Well, tell you what, Rob, why don't you do another song here?
Okay. Well, I'll do the song that got such a nice response on your radio show. This is called Searching. And I wrote this song after I got together with my dad one night in New York. He was living in Florida at the time with my mom. And we sat down, in a diner or something, and he told me that they were separating after 28 years of being married. So I thought, wow, if they can't get it right after 28 years, what hope is there for me? So here we go. This is Searching. My father used to tell me, don't spend your life alone. You'll want someone to be there late at night when you get home. We were sitting in a cafe. I could have cried right then and there, face to face with loneliness that father and daughter share. Is it too late for me? I've spent a lifetime searching. Somebody please find me. I need someone who, like me, is also searching. Well, I came close so often, I thought that he might be the one. He only wanted company while he shined in the sun. And now I toss and turn at night, afraid I'll never find one who is my other half, the one meant to be mine. Is it too late for me? I've spent a lifetime searching. Somebody please find me. I need someone, yeah, who like me is also searching. Yes, searching, whoa, whoa. Well, some men they seek for riches, others search for fame. Everybody looks for love, yeah, that will never change. Is it too late for me? Yeah, I spent a lifetime searching. Somebody please find me. I need someone who, like me, is also searching.
That was Robin Greenstein, and she's here on Fiddles and Frets. And let me mention again, that song's called Searching. And when you look at your play window there on your computer, you'll see that little rating button, and that's one of our highest rated songs since we've been doing the show.
Pick my song, pick my song.
And by the way, if you like any Robbins songs, just go. There's also a little button on there that you can says buy, and you can go buy it.
True. Plus, also you can buy individual tracks because I'm on iTunes, and I'm on Rhapsody, and I think I'm on Napster, and a whole bunch of stuff. And it is so amazing to actually see a royalty statement for digital royalties, Ray. It is such a trip. It's great that people,
I've even gotten a little bit on that. Believe it or not.
It's fantastic. It really is.
It was funny because the guy that did my CD, who used to be Van Morrison's drummer, and
I remember him. What was his name?
Daoud. That's right.
Daoud, yeah.
And I told him, I called him up and said, I got a $23 check. And he goes, well, and if you were on a major record label, you'd have to sell 50,000 albums to get that.
Well, I think it's great what you're doing. And I just found out today that there's an organization, this weekend I found out that there's an organization called Sound Exchange.
Right, I saw that.
That collects royalties from the people who you pay monthly to have your stream.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, if you submit your playlists to them and they have to submit them, eventually the artists will see a few bucks.
That's
from
right.
that.
Well, Live 365, they log all the songs that go on, and then they pay them directly.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. You also do a lot of traditional music.
I do, and I put out a traditional music CD called Images of Women because I got real interested in the way that women were viewed in traditional folk music, American and Anglo folk. And the answer to that is, not too well. So that was my interest, and I put out a CD, and there were so many songs that it's going to be more than one volume.
Well, talk a little bit about traditional music, because you do both singer-songwriter, traditional, and other things, and how it fits in today.
Well, traditional music is very elemental. It deals with, very basic themes of, love, unrequited love, revenge, death, murder, suicide, redemption, tales of the fantastic. But the songs are also, at the same time, very moralistic and very judgmental. The lyric songs, which are songs where people are talking in the first person, really reveal a lot of deep-seated emotions and feelings. And, back in the days before there was radio, before there was television, before there was telephone, even before there was, daily newspapers, people expressed themselves through song. And the songs got passed around through an oral tradition. And, some songs stuck, and some of them are it's very easy to understand. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Who hasn't felt like that sometimes? Or a change is going to come, or, the wind's going to rise and blow my blues away. And then there are other songs, like the songs about the Gypsy Davy and Frankie and Johnny, that seem like old and archaic, but there's something about them that's really quite deep underneath it, that represents something, and people still do it. And I think what a lot of younger people today don't realize is that a lot of the great singers of the 60s and the 70s, they loved this music. Eric Clapton, Led Zeppelin, Grateful Dead, all those seminal groups, they loved this music. The Beatles loved American R&B music. And, what was American R&B music? It was just an extension of blues. Now, I don't know that, Britney Spears would know the blues if it hit her in the face, or there's always been this kind of plastic, vapid pop stuff. But when Bruce Springsteen does an album of the songs of Pete Seeger, and they're not even Pete Seeger songs, they're traditional songs that Pete Seeger popularized, it's great, so I think there's a reason it sticks around. Nirvana did a Lead Belly song, Black Girl, and I just think that, it survives for a reason.
Do you want to do one of those?
Sure. Let's see. What would you like to hear? Like a bluesy thing, or?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to do this song. I didn't even know it, but Dave Van Ronk had done this song. I first heard it as an a cappella song on a field recording by Alan Lomax. Alan Lomax was one of the great, great American folk song collectors. Him and his son, Alan Lomax Jr., were like Harvard, upper crust, East Coast intellectual guys who went down south. They discovered Lead Belly and many others. And they collected all kinds of music from the black population, white people, everywhere. And they have an incredible collection that I believe is in the Library of Congress now. So this song was originally a woman who was living in a levee camp across from a prison. And she was washing clothes. And when they asked her name, she said, "My name is Dink." And she was just singing this song, and it turned out that her man was in the prison across the way, and she was kind of biding her time living near him so she could visit him. And when I heard the original recording, it was incredible. Anyway, I put it to music, and she didn't have a name for it, so they called it Dink's Song, and that's what it's called. It's also, the tagline is "Fare Thee Well." And talk about elemental. What happened is he recorded her on one of these recording field trips, and when they came back and they went through all their material, they realized, wow, this woman is gold. She's got it. They went back and on a second field collecting trip, and when they went back to the levee camp, they asked if anybody knew where Dink was. So someone pointed up to a hill behind the town, and up at the top of the hill was a cemetery, and they said, "Now that's where Dink's living now."
Wow.
Yeah, so here we go, Dink's song. If I had wings like a Noah's dove, I'd fly across the river to the man I love. Fare thee well, oh my honey, fare thee well. I got a man, oh yeah, he's long and he's tall, and he moves his body just like a cannonball. Fare thee well, oh my sugar, fare thee well. One of these days, yeah, it won't be long, you're gonna call my name, baby, I'll be gone. Fare thee well, oh my sugar, fare thee well. I remember one night, it was a drizzling rain. Round my heart I felt a pain. Fare thee well, oh my honey, fare thee well. To love you, honey, it's easy as falling off a log. I wanna be your baby, sure won't be your dog. Fare thee well, oh my sugar, fare thee well. Oh, oh, oh. If I had wings like a Noah's dove, yeah, fly across the river to the man I love. Fare thee well, oh my honey, fare thee well, oh my sugar, fare thee well. said a fare thee well. Bye-bye, honey, I gotta go. Oh,
Robin Greenstein. Robin, your voice still sounds good, even though you've been up late in the evening this weekend.
well, you know what they say, never let them see you sweat.
That's right. Now, people want to get your CDs or songs or see where you're going to be playing.
Well, the first place they should go is my website, robingreenstein.com, although I have been having some server problems and it's not quite up to date. If they want to, they can also go to CD Baby. I'm on cdbaby.com, and sometimes my CDs are on promotion there. If you buy 3 CDs from CD Baby, you can get them for $5 each, which is a fantastic price. And so sometimes I put one of my CDs on there. And then if you want to download individual songs, all of my CDs except my kids CD are downloadable.
I have downloaded some songs.
He did from
Rhapsody.
what service? Oh, Rhapsody.
Yeah,
I've never used any of those services except for iTunes. So chances are, if it's a legitimate download, it's there. And I'd just like to make a little plug for mysongs.com, which is Gene Goldsmith's new website,
Okay.
which I'm going to be loading up onto. And they're a startup company, and the thing about them is that they're paying artists a better percentage.
Great.
So, try Napster, Rhapsody, emusic.com, iTunes, whatever, and enjoy.
Well, Robin, thank you very much. Robin Greenstein, for coming on. And we will see you soon.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody out there in internet land.